Okay, well, I think we'll go ahead and get started, if that's okay with everyone. And what I'd like to do is take a few minutes and just talk about our program very quickly. I'm sure that some of you have already spoken to store development representatives here in our office. But for those of you who have not, or if it's been a little bit, I'm just going to take about 5 minutes and kind of recap what we do and how our program works. And as you know, we're not a franchise. We're a business opportunity, so you will never pay any fees or royalties to our company ever. Good morning. You pay us one time when we set up your store, and that's the only time that you ever pay us anything. Our program consists of 7 key services, and it's a 100% turnkey store opening opportunity. We provide financing assistance, site location assistance. We negotiate your lease agreement. We do the complete setup of the store, including all the merchandise, fixtures, the labor, interior signage, an allowance towards the cost of your outdoor sign, and all the other items that you need to open your store. We provide comprehensive training. And in the past, until COVID-19, we trained in our office or over the phone and via an online program that we have. Right now, we're doing only the online and phone. It's very effective. We've been doing it for many years. We also give you membership in our merchandise network, which provides you with savings of 20 to 25% on merchandise, as opposed to what you would pay as an individual going to the very same suppliers. And you have that for the life of your business. I would ask anyone that just joined us to please mute your phone until we get to the question and answer portion. That'll keep the noise down a little bit for everyone. And then the last service that we provide as part of our package is unparalleled long-term support. And that goes on for the life of your business. Merchandise support, supplier updates. We provide hundreds of new merchandise items each and every week. And we have a person in our office that's assigned to work with you for the first 90 days, virtually every day, tracking your sales with you, helping you write reorders and so on. And then after that, once we think you have your arms around the store, we continue to follow up with you weekly, and we provide you again with all that updated product and supplier information, and that goes on for the life of your business. Hello, welcome. In finance, we have any number of lenders that can address virtually every credit profile. We have programs that will be traditional loans, SBA loans, business lines of credit. We have programs where you can roll over your CD or your 401k. And typically with a Fico score in the mid 600s, we can get you financing up to and including 100% financing, including working capital. In site location, we identify every available location in your area. We eliminate the ones that for one reason or another do not meet our criteria in terms of competition, other tenants within the center, rent factors, and so on. And then all the locations that we believe have interest, we put on it's a secure website. We designed it ourselves. It's called Easy Track. And you will have full access to that, and you can see everything there is to know about every location that's being presented to you. Once you determine a location that you like, we negotiate it for you to get to the final set of terms for rent, free rent, how the landlord's going to deliver the space, and so on. And at that time, too, we will have negotiated normally 2 or 3 different locations. So then we can sit down with you and kind of evaluate one versus the other and see what presents the best opportunity for you. Once that's done, we send a crew out to put your store together. We ship in all the fixtures, merchandise, signage. Our crew is there. They receive everything. They set up the fixtures. They set up the store. The actual setup of the store takes us 1 week from start to finish. And, of course, prior to that, we're going to be doing your training with you at your leisure. You can do it online and over the phone, and it's in a number of modules so that you can do it at times that are convenient for you, and then we kind of assess your training with you through it. In our merchandise system, we have three key components, which are value, variety, and new merchandise. And we provide these in the following way. Value, we provide because we personally visit all of our suppliers every month. I do most of that traveling myself. I hand select the best items that our suppliers have. I negotiate the prices on them, and then we present that information to you. If we can't get to the right price or an acceptable price on an item, you will never see it from us. So it's very important. And it's very important to hand select the products. Just looking at pictures in a catalog or on the internet doesn't really give you a sense of the value included in that product. Is it well made? Does it do what it's designed to do? Is the packaging good? And so on. So we hand select all those items. Variety we're able to create because we have over 80 suppliers in our merchandise network all over the country. So the shipping times are short and the transit times to your store are very, very quick. Along with that, they have products that suppliers in your area may not have. So stores that are not part of our network are forced to buy their products locally. Stores on our network, because of freight concessions that we've negotiated and other things, our stores can buy product from anywhere in the country. If you have a store in upstate New York, you can buy products from suppliers in California, suppliers in Chicago, and so on, and have merchandise that's totally different from any competitor in your area, and that's critically important. And then the last component of merchandise is having new goods each and every week. In our system, we know that customers, when they shop a store, they come in for their, just as you do, they come in for their consumables, the items that they need, the paper products, food items, health and beauty aids, and so on. But we know that once a customer comes in and they've bought those items, we want to sell them more. And the way we sell them more is making sure that every time they come into a store, we have those core items, those consumables that they want. But then they get exposed to new items in every category. So when I shop your store, I may come in and pick up my paper towels, my toilet tissue, shampoo and conditioner, maybe some food items. So I go in there with the intent of spending anywhere from $6 to $8, $9 on that transaction. But then I get into your store and I've got those items in my basket. Hello, welcome. And then I start to look around and maybe I'll pick up a table runner for my hall table. Hello, welcome. Or maybe I'll grab some toys for my grandkids or a couple of man-made chamois to clean my car on the weekend. So now, instead of spending that $6 or $7 or $8, now I'm spending $15 or $18 because now I'm buying items that I didn't know I needed, but the value is so good that I had to have them, so I picked them up. But next time I come into your store, I don't need the chamois, I don't need the table runner. They didn't get used up. But when I'm buying my consumables again, if you show me something new in home decor or in auto care or whatever those things might be, now I'm a customer again. So having new products in your store each and every time your customer shops is key to your success. Builds your sales and builds your profit. And that's our program in a nutshell. I wanted to talk for a few minutes before I kind of open it up about things that are happening right now that are really beneficial for somebody that is considering getting into this business right now. We have several different dollar store formats. We have a dollar only store, which is comparable to a Dollar Tree. We have a dollar plus store format, which is similar to a Family Dollar or a Dollar General. And then we have a new format. It's called 123 or 135. And what those stores are is a situation where about half your products would sell for $1, and the balance of the products in your store would be selling from $1 to $3 or $1 to $5. Now, either one of those formats do something very interesting for you and very beneficial. Number one, they allow you to carry product that a typical dollar store cannot. And you will have the best dollar product available in your store. Hello, welcome. The second thing that it does is it separates you from any competitors because there really aren't any other stores like this, like a 1 to 3 or 1 to 5 store. It's got all the sizzle of the dollar store because you have the dollar price point. Welcome. But you also have the ability to offer more for your customers. The third thing that it does for you is it makes many more locations uh, potentially available to you because you can support with the expanded retail pricing and the additional margin that you're going to get. You can look at locations that maybe could not support a dollar only store rent wise, but will support one of these stores very easily. So they're great formats to consider in terms of competition. There's nothing like it. They'll work in virtually every market. And interestingly enough, Dollar Tree has been testing a similar format for about 2 years now in a select group of stores, and it's called Dollar Tree 2.0, and basically Dollar Plus stores. So um, they're starting to do it now. We've been doing it for years, and it's something that when you talk to your representative, you will want to talk about. Um, so that's kind of the new approach that we're taking with a lot of our stores. The dollar store business is fantastic. It's a $60 billion business, and it's growing every year. Through the COVID-19 situation, business has actually been better than ever because our stores have products that the grocery stores didn't have, so it drove even more customers to our stores for paper products and cleaners and sanitizer, things of that nature. Um, and now those folks are regular customers for us. Dollar General alone, and I mentioned this in my email, I think, for the second quarter, they were up almost 22% over last year, and that was in kind of in the height of the pandemic. So it just tells you our business is just incredibly strong. Now the economy's starting to heat up again. Jobs are coming back. Unemployment claims were down, I heard again yesterday, which is great news for all of us. Um, and then on top of that, because some businesses unfortunately have fallen by the wayside, landlords are looking for quality tenants, and there are prime locations available. So in terms of finding locations, there could never be a better time, I don't believe, than right now. I'm seeing rental rates that I have not seen in years. Interest rates are dropping, and of course, with our program, we have up to 100% financing uh, on approved credit for almost all of our store sizes. Another newer thing that we're doing, and I want to share this briefly with you, and then I'll kind of open it up. We've created a number of uh, custom programs that you can add to your store, and they're pretty much all low cost options to add. And there's so many things that you can do. You've got customers in your store, and they're there for the business that you're doing. So why not offer them more? And some of the things that we have, I'm sorry, some of the programs that we have are things such as mailbox rentals. You accept mail and receive it for your customers. Excuse me, if someone is not uh, having their phone on mute, could you please mute it because we're hearing some background noise. Sounds like dishes or something, so I appreciate that. You can add mailbox rentals. Welcome. You can add key duplication. We have a program where you can, once you're open, you can participate in the EBT, the food stamp program, which creates a lot of extra traffic for your stores. And once you're approved for that, customers that have EBT cards can use them to shop basically every item in your store. There are other things such as notary services, faxing services, computer time rental, lottery tickets in some markets. Some of our stores look to add tobacco sales or beer and wine, and we can help you with all of those things. So a dollar store is the core of everything that you're going to be doing, but there's so many more things you can offer to your customers, and we work very hard to see what works best in the market that you're in and the location that you've selected, and help you find those additional sources of revenue. And what I'd like to do now is kind of open this up to questions. Go ahead and unmute your phone, ask questions. We'll try and do it as orderly as possible. It does get a little messy with folks trying to talk over each other, and that's going to happen. So I'm ready for questions that you might have.
Yes, I just have a question.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a question about a couple of questions. The one about the 123 store, and then another one about I'm going through trying to secure some financing,
Mm-hmm.
and I was on my own, so I needed the business plan,
Okay.
and I have been going over, and I think I was on not your last live, but the time before that, and
Okay.
you had said you would look up a building for me, and I text you the address, but I never heard anything from you. So I was just
Oh,
wondering
I apologize for that.
how would I put the figures in there, because they want you to put everything in your business plan so they can know how much, to give you to start the business. So I was just wondering, how would you go about doing that, or do y'all assist with that?
Actually, we could put that business plan together for you. What you would want to do is get a hold of whoever your representative is here, if you know who that is. Have you spoken to someone here?
Yeah, I did. They sent me some paperwork, and I actually have a format too that the lender, the person that I'm working with, they send me something too. So what I was trying to do
Fold it
was
all
trying
together.
to, yeah, kind of, look in there and see what's what, but I'm not for sure. I know they probably want a traditional type of business plan, and
Well, why
I've
don't
never did one before.
no, and I can do that with you. Let me do this. Let me give you my number, and if you can call me Monday morning, we'll
Okay.
walk through it specifically. I don't want to tie up everybody's time today, but I want to get you what you need. Uh,
Okay.
my number here in the office is 702-637
Okay.
3389. 3389.
Okay.
And yeah, give me a call
All right.
Monday, and we'll see what you need, and I'll get it put together for you. Absolutely. And
Okay.
I
Okay.
apologize for not seeing your text, and I'm sure I'll go back and I'll find it. So, but we'll talk Monday morning.
Okay. Okay
Very
then.
good.
Well, one more question I
Yes, go
want
ahead.
to ask you about that 123. The one I didn't really want to go with just the plain dollar. I wanted, a store with more items that cost more than $1.
Sure.
And I was trying to, with the 123 stores, how much would they cost?
They start the
Uh,
thousand square foot store starts at 78.9, which is only $2,000 more than the dollar only store, and the difference is all in inventory. You get more inventory dollars because you need more because you have some items now that sell for more than $1.
oh, okay. Okay.
And
Thank you.
thank you very much, and I'll talk to you Monday morning.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, I have a question that I need to ask. So,
Yes.
my question is, or what I hear you saying is, we can apply for the SBA loan as long as we have a credit score of 600. So, does that mean that we're going to use our personal credit versus a business credit?
If you use, okay, good question. If you apply for SBA, typically you have to apply through a local bank because they're the ones that actually administer the SBA funds. We can help you with the business plan and whatever other documentation they might need. SBA does take a little while. They take longer to process a loan, and I'm sure it's probably even longer right now. And the second part of your question is yes, you have to provide collateral for that loan. For example, if you're going to get $100,000 loan from SBA, you have to have cash on hand for a third of that loan. So if you wanted $100,000, basically you have to have about $30,000, and then you have to have collateral for the balance of the loan amount. And most often, what they want to do is use your home or a home for that. So they're fairly low risk loans for the banks, and and you have to collateralize them. Now we do have other programs where you do not have to provide collateral. The interest rates tend to be a little bit higher, but it's basically an unsecured loan, so it's lower risk for you, for the borrower. And once you come on board, we take a look at your credit profile, and then someone here in our office will present you with all the loan options that you would qualify for, and then you make the decision as to whether or not you want to proceed. The layout,
Okay.
what type of loan, the terms, and so on, and then you make the decision as to whether or not you'd like to go forward.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next question?
I have a question,
Yes, sir.
John.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. You want to? Yeah,
No, go ahead,
the
go ahead.
subject matter that we're talking about the Small Business Administration loan,
Yes, sir.
you know, if you're applying through your office, okay, there are certain criteria that are necessary that a person should have when applying for the loan, and it has to do with the credit score. Am I correct in assuming that?
Yeah, it's always tied to the FICO score, and they look at all three bureaus.
There are 8 different FICO scores that are available that I've seen on the computer. 8.
Yeah,
Using TransUnion, Equifax. I don't know which one you use.
they use
Yeah.
they use typically a combination of TransUnion, Equifax, and there's one other, and I apologize that the name is eluding me right now.
Experian. But
Experian,
like I
thank you.
said to you, there are 8. Yeah, there are 8. I've been really involved in trying to get my score better because I had a very serious problem medically, and my score went down because of that. I was over 800 at one time. I'd just like to know, I'd like to know what score is needed on a FICO score and what FICO score is being used with all of these few scores. It's like the mafia. You're dealing with the mafia. My score is going. It is. They control people's lives with
they
these
do.
scores. It's absolutely horrible. You can be 30-day late payment on a credit card, and you're, ostracized on your score for a 30-day late payment.
And if there's an
and
error,
if you're ill,
that medical is a whole other story. And if you just are, if there's an error on your credit report, it's struggle to get it removed. Now, some of our lenders, if there are things, little blemishes on your credit report, they will assist you in cleaning those up. If there is some sometimes late pays, certainly if there's anything in dispute, things of that nature. To answer your question, number one, for SBA, we usually look for a score of about 650, and that's a little bit of a moving target, but something close to that, number one. And they typically will look at those three bureaus that we just mentioned. And I know there's, like you say, there's any number of them out there, but they usually look at a blend of those three and come up with an average score based on them.
Sure. What I would think that the SBA administration would not only look at your score, but look at your assets. If you own a home that's $1 million, or if you have $1 million of assets, and you want to leverage, I would think that they would look at that. I mean, am I correct in assuming that, or when they're giving out this loan?
No, absolutely. They look at the overall picture, and as I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you were on the call then. You do have to collateralize those loans with SBA, normally with a home or a property of some sort.
But the uncollateral, the non-secured loan that you were talking about before,
yes,
is gotten through your office, or is that
it's not
gotten through the bank? How does that work?
Okay,
I would think that you have more clout when you have a lot of cattle and you have a lot of people applying for a loan. It gives you more clout, I would think, if you have 100 people applying for a loan to open up your store.
No question it does, and we have very good relationships with the lenders that our store owners work with. They typically will get us the lowest rates possible. Number one, and the other part of your question was, yes, they're unsecured. So the interest rates, as I mentioned, tend to be a little bit higher, and that does vary. The lenders, what they do when they put together a loan package, they look at an individual's credit profile, and as you mentioned earlier, the stronger the profile, the more favorable the loan terms will be. So the easy way to get to that answer when you're ready is if you do an application and place a refundable deposit in place, we put your information in front of the lenders that we think are going to be most beneficial for you, and we'll know typically within 72 hours, and you will know what you qualify for, how much money you would qualify for, and what the terms are going to be, and then you can make that decision for yourself.
Okay, 650 is the FICO score that's needed. 650.
Yes, but again, if you're close, a lot of our lenders can do some credit repair to, if you need to pick up 20 points or whatever it might be, they can assist you with that. But yeah, somewhere in that area is ideally where you want to be.
Okay.
I was as a general comment. No, it's great, and I appreciate that. I always tell people, never assume that you can't get financing, because I've seen some very positive things happen over the years. I've been here a long time, and And so that's a comment I always make because I've seen so many individuals that didn't believe they could secure financing that ended up opening a store. So it's a very easy process to find out. As I say, within 72 hours, you'll have the answer for yourself. So, but thank you. Good questions. Next question.
Hi, I have a question.
Yes, young lady, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. So me. Actually, I live in Canada, in Toronto.
Okay.
So, do you have any representative in Toronto here where I can get a contact and to start everything with him? Somebody here, or what is the procedures to follow? Because I am not in US. I am in And also, I have been looking around to get fund like a loan, and they are asking me if you guys can provide me a business plan, so that they can, based on that, they can assess everything for me to get the fund.
Understood. Okay. First question is no, we don't have an office in Canada right now, but we can work with you through our office here. Do you have someone that you're speaking with here?
Yes, I speak with Bruce Benson.
Okay.
And I have a call appointment on Monday with him.
Okay, very good. When you speak to him, this is I spoke earlier. When you speak to Bruce on Monday, let him know that you do need a business plan, and yes, we can provide that for you for your use with Canadian lenders. Absolutely.
Oh yes, yeah. And is it for free, or there is something should I pay?
No, that's free.
Oh, all right. Yeah. And the last question is, if I'm willing to look at a location in the mall, is that choice?
Mm-hmm.
Hello?
What was that question? I'm sorry, I didn't get the end of it.
Yes. If I am looking a location like to open my dollar store in a mall, so do I have that choice?
Oh, absolutely. Mall locations can work out very nicely.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Very good. And I'll talk to Bruce, and I know you'll be speaking with him on Monday. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. There's a gentleman with a question.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
How are you? Go ahead. I have lots of gentlemen. Go ahead, sir. Question?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Our question is, since we are not franchisee, what is our identification when we're looking for loans, or what do you identify us as? What do we classify?
Okay, our business is a business opportunity.
Okay.
And you would be an independent. So let's go ahead with questions. Let's see what happens.
Okay. We missed the information. You were explaining as far as applying for a business loan, and if we were considered independent business owner versus since we're not a franchise.
Yes, you would be considered an independent business owner for purposes of applying for the loan, but you would have the support of our company in terms of opening and operating your business. And when you apply for those loans and you do that business plan, we incorporate into it a lot of detail about the levels of support that you would receive from our company as you open and operate your business, and it's usually very beneficial in getting a loan because even though it's not a franchise, you have all the benefits of a franchise, so it's actually more attractive to prospective lenders.
Okay, all right. Hey, here's my real burning question. I have less than a year for retirement, and I'm afraid me with the store would be a conflict of interest. So I'm just curious but I want to open up really bad. It's been going on for a few years now. Mm-hmm. So is that something I could? I don't know if you can answer this, but if I could not participate but be an owner.
Yeah, well, you would have to be an owner, or a spouse would be. You wouldn't have to be operating inside the store, working inside the store. If you want to finish out with obviously you're a year away from retirement. You don't want to jeopardize any of that. But the stores are very easy to operate, and often what our new owners do is kind of what you've described. They want to transition into full-time activity in the business. So they may hire a key person, and pay them a dollar or two more an hour than minimum wage, just to be the responsible person at the store. And I usually encourage owners that are doing that to kind of keep the ordering responsibility for yourself, which you can do in about 2 hours a week. It's very, very simple.
Oh, okay.
And that way you can kind of be hands off. You still want to do the deposits and things of that nature, but you wouldn't have to be actively involved in the business until you're ready to transition out of your employment.
Okay, great. One
Easily
last
done.
question.
Yes.
I'm trying to determine, should I do an LLC for this business or just use it personal? With credit score greater than 800, do you know where I would benefit more from?
That's a question I'm always going to defer to your tax person or your attorney. But as a general comment, the LLC does provide you some levels of protection. Insulating you from anything that might happen in your business. Somebody slips and falls and they want to sue you. Obviously, you have insurance for that, but the better degree of separation you can have, the larger degree of separation, rather, the better it is. So, but I would always talk to a professional, but most often I think an LLC is what they're going to recommend.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Next question.
Good morning,
Yes,
sir. Yes,
morning.
sir. Good morning.
How are you?
Yes. Yes. I have a business here in Florida, but I'm close to get out, to exit out, and I'm trying to downgrade a little bit, but I'm really interested in doing the dollar store.
Okay, good.
And I'm trying to come in cash into this. I'm interested in doing one of the big box. Something like, I don't know if it's a big box, but something like close to where you can do like grocery store, something like that. Do you have a specific name for that?
Sure. Well, actually, the dollar plus stores will allow you to incorporate a lot of grocery items. The big box starts at about 10,000 square feet, and it's really more like a mini grocery. I'm always going to suggest maybe starting with the dollar plus and get your arms around the business. But yeah, either format is a good one to choose.
Okay. Okay. Now, if I remember earlier we were talking about add like EBT card, like a shipping mailing box. If I try to put all this together, can you give me please a ballpark? How much cash I'm gonna try to bring in.
It would really depend on. Sure. No, it would really depend initially on the store size you're considering, and that's probably a conversation that we should have outside of the teleseminar. So if I get your name and number, I'll follow up with you on Monday.
That's fine.
Okay. Phone number first.
407. 383. 6134.
6134. And your name, sir? I'm sorry.
And my name is Antoine. Antoine is spelled like A as in apple, N as in Nancy, T as in Tom, O-I-N-E.
Okay.
And last name is Azolin, A-Z-O-L-I-N.
A-Z-O-L-I-N. Very good. All right, I will reach out to you Monday morning if that's okay, and we can get into some more detail.
It sounds good. I like that.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next question?
I have another question. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Go ahead, ma'am. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay. What I would like to ask, if there's a dollar store close in the area, I'm in Wisconsin, and I would like to have a dollar store in that area, but I would want it to be a specialty dollar store. Does it make a difference? Do you have to be a distance?
Well, what we always want to do is make sure that you have enough separation from any competitors, so that you have a trade area, a core of customers that's unique to you. And with that, as you say, if you want to create a different merchandise mix for your store, that sometimes will create part of that separation. It doesn't always have to be distance, because you're a different type of store. So what we would do is look at that specific area with you, and then determine where you could locate your store. And that's one of the first things we do when we get into real estate. When you talk to your site location and leasing team, we'll pull up a map and we'll look at all the areas. Interesting. We'll look at all the pockets where competitors are not and where we know a store can do well. And we'll review those areas with you. We kind of call it a hot pocket map. So we look at locations that we know are going to be unique situations for your potential store. So.
Okay. Because I have a friend that is opening up a small mall, and I would like to lease from her as a dollar store, like 1, 2, 3 store or something. And she's not complete yet, and she wanted to know, like, would you come in and do any other, like she doesn't have the drywall up or she doesn't have the floor down, and she needed to know what else she needed to do.
Okay, when we got to that point, we would tell her directly what finish work she'd have to do, but most often what we need is just a finished space. We need the floor in, the ceiling in, the walls painted, and then a small stock area created, in the back for you to receive and a little bit of merchandise. Very basic build out, nothing exotic. You just call it a vanilla box.
Can I come in with a question now,
yes,
sir?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know that you have a lot of experience in the dollar stores because you've been so successful. And I would think, on the computer, you've been able to determine what square footage would be the most successful on a national basis for the stores, and how much money could be made per square foot with brick and mortar with the products that you are selling. So with your experience, you're talking about the 1,000 square foot store, which you mentioned before, but is a 5,000 square foot store maybe more successful per square foot to yield you a higher return and profit margin? Can you tell me what square footage would do that?
Sure. To an extent. Okay. Good questions. The interesting thing is that unlike a traditional retailer, for example, if a Party City comes into a market, they know that all their stores are the same size, and they can position the stores wherever they choose based on their history. And most corporate retailers are that way. Our format's a little bit different for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're driven both by where our clients are geographically and the economics that they can bring to the table in terms of determining a store size. So it's quite a bit more difficult for us to say that a store of X size is the optimal size, because what we do is we look for whatever size location our client has told us they would like to develop. We look for environments in which that store can be successful, and that can be a function of population, a function of separation from competitors, a function of household income, and any number of other factors. So your question is a good question, but it's the most difficult question to answer. I would say this. Over the last number of years, our average store size, now that's an average, year in, year out, is somewhere between 2,000 and 2,500. And of course, to get to that average, we build stores at 1,000 square feet. We build stores at 5,000 and 6,000 square feet. And every store size, again, can do very well in the right location. If I was doing a store and finances were no object, though they are, but if they were not, I would say somewhere between 2,500 and 3,500 square feet is a great optimal first store size. Bigger is always better because you can present more product to your potential customers. There is a law of diminishing returns in terms of sales per foot as you grow in size. For example, say that at 1,000 or 1,500 square feet, you could generate $180 a square foot. When you went to 5,000 square feet, you wouldn't do five times that same sales volume, but maybe you do 4 to 4.5 times. And in terms of your question regarding sales per foot, what we do, because every store is so unique and every environment in which the store goes is so unique, what we do is, as part of the real estate process, is once you've hit upon a location and and we know the final set of economics, what the rent factor is, how much free rent there's going to be, and all the other factors, who the competitors are and where they are, the co-tenants and so on. What I do is I can sit down with you and we put together a kind of a revenue and expense worksheet for that specific location, because now we have a real location, we have real numbers, we can put a pretty fine point on the potential for revenue, we can estimate the basic expenses, and of course we know the rent. So that's kind of how we work that process, because we don't want you to make a decision on a location, and obviously until you know what the potential can be. And the best way to do that is to have a real location in front of us.
So when you look at a Starbucks coffee shop, or you look at any kind of chain, these are the things that they look at, and population, of course.
Sure.
And the economics of that area, and how many people and what income category these people are, and if that location is a mass location where people can see it visually from the street. I would think that all that comes into play. Am I correct in assuming that?
Absolutely. Those are all key factors. You know, and we look at a lot of other things too. For example, we'll look at the co-tenants in a center. You know, who is going to help create traffic for you, or are you of a size where you're going to create traffic for the other tenants? And we also look at the synergy between tenants. You know, are there tenants that are going to have a product mix that's going to impact a portion of your business or not? If there's a major tenant that has some product restrictions, can we work with those? So there's so many different factors that come into play before we ever move forward on a location. But you're absolutely right. Exposure, the ability to get on a marquee sign out by the street, certainly the number of impressions that you get. We look at the cars per day going by the center. Those are all important things. So we evaluate all of that. And the demographic work that we do and that you will see in our EasyTrack system for each and every location that we're considering is pretty voluminous. So I think you'll see that we go as far as seeing how many daytime employees are in the area, because they're potential customers as well, the population at 1, 3, and 5 miles, the household income at 1, 3, and 5, the ethnicity, and on and on and on. So all factors. Next question?
Okay, thank you for answering the question.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I have a question. So do you have any idea about 1,500 square feet, like how much monthly I will be having as a profit after I deduct all my rent, heat, hydro, everything? Just a brief number for me. Thank you.
It's the hardest question to answer without having a location in front of us.
Yeah.
You know, that because the rent is such a big factor, and obviously where the location is in terms of what it can deliver to you in sales. Whatever answer and I'm being honest with you, whatever answer I would give you today would be the wrong answer. So because there's too much that we don't know. You know, it's a question that everybody asks, and that's why we create that revenue expense worksheet once we've not secured a location, but gotten to the finish line, so to speak, on negotiating a location. Then you can look back at it and see. And we even break it down so far as to how many customers you need to have per hour, making an average transaction to see if that location can achieve that level of sales. And you can actually sit outside the location and, maybe you're 2 doors down from the grocery store, for example, and you see 150 people going in and out of the grocery store every half hour, and you say, well, if I can get 7 of those to come into my store every hour and make a purchase, then I can achieve this number. So we break it down to that level of detail for you.
All right. Yeah.
So
thank you.
Okay, I have another question, sir.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I have another question. As you know, the international landscape has been very fluxing with China and what's going on in the world and between us and China, our country. Are your products from China, or are they from other countries in the world?
They are from
the products that you're selling in the store.
Okay, they are from any number of countries, including domestic here. There is a portion, probably as much as 30% or so, products that are sourced in China. What we found over the last year and a half, because this is not new, it's been going on for a while now. Two things: when the back and forth between our country and China with regards to one-upping each other on tariffs, that didn't really affect the product that we bring in, or our suppliers bring in rather, for our stores. They're really targeting more higher end goods, heavy machinery, automobiles, electronics, things like that. So we were not really impacted at all in terms of pricing, and a lot of our suppliers have been moving their sourcing for any number of years now from China to other countries because it was more economical to do so, even without the tariff situation. So we have product that comes from Turkey, from Israel, Vietnam, as well as China and any number of other countries. So it really hasn't impacted our business in any meaningful way, which is a great thing. It's obviously always a concern, but what I've learned is that I've been in this business for a long time, better than 40 years, and sourcing product. I traveled overseas for many years for a major U.S. company, sourcing product and as a buyer and so forth. And what I found is that the makers overseas are very creative in any number of ways. I know that some of the makers in China actually lowered their prices to make sure that importers could pay whatever tariff increase might have impacted them and still be able to buy the product, because the supply chain of product from China to the U.S., specifically in the dollar store stream, is so significant to the manufacturers over there that they cannot afford to lose that business. So they get creative with pricing when they needed to actually counteract the impact that a tariff might have had. And as I say, it was very, very small in our business. The other thing that I've seen over the years is that when petroleum goes up worldwide, plastic gets more expensive. So the manufacturers in China, just as one example, will use less plastic and more wood. When metal goes up, sometimes that happens. They'll use less metal and more plastic in the products that they make. So they're extremely creative, and their overarching goal is to make sure that they don't lose any business. So they do what they need to do to keep that stream alive for the U.S. Next question.
Well, thank you for answering the question. But you, as an owner, if you had contacts in, let's say, Bangladesh, with manufacturers out of Bangladesh, which can make the goods less expensive than China, do you have that option of using another manufacturer that might be able to give you the same thing at a lower cost if you're the owner of the store?
Sure, that's the function of our suppliers, and they are always going to find the lowest cost source for the products that they sell to our stores, because it's in their best interest to do so, because if they don't, somebody else may. So the answer to your question is, well, you can't do it at store level. The suppliers in our network are doing it for us every day.
Okay.
Next question?
Okay, you answered my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Yes, go ahead.
Yes, did we allow, after, let's say, if we get at the final and we get our store, can we allow to sell our product, the product that your supplier is not going to provide? For example, there is a local people need something. Can we allow to sell something like, I have I have to check some other dollar stores, checking around and see what they sell. Some of the stuff they have is different from one each other. And some stores, they have local products. That's not going to be, national supply. Only that area needed.
Sure, no.
For example, yeah.
So no, I understand what you're asking, and to answer that question, there are no restrictions on what you can sell in your store. It's your store, and we're not a franchise, so we don't dictate to you what you can or cannot sell in your store. And very often, you may have local suppliers that have product that's, as you say, is kind of unique to your area. We're doing a store right now for a gentleman that he's on the East Coast, and he has an African food store, which has been very successful for him over the years. So he's doing a store, and he's setting aside 1,000 square feet within his dollar store, his Dollar Plus store, to sell that specific product because it does very well for him. And yeah, that happens all the time. There may be specific ethnic product or locally made products.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, no limitations at all. And that, I don't know if you're on the call earlier when we were talking about some of the add-on programs that we can offer to you, like accepting mail and making keys and doing notary. There's no limit to what you can add to your store. None at all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question.
Thank you. That really helps. Thank you.
Next question.
Okay, I have a question about what if you have a high credit score?
A high what kind of store? I'm sorry.
800.
Oh, credit score. I'm sorry. Yes, go ahead.
And your debt to income ratio is high.
Okay.
Then would you have a problem with obtaining a loan?
They do look at, and obviously you've been doing your homework. They do look at credit score, but they also look at that debt to income. And normally lenders are going to want that at about 45% of debt to income. So what they may tell you, if you're a little bit high, and this happens every day here, they may come back and say, you can qualify for X amount of dollars in a loan, but you need to pay down your debt by $1,500 or $2,000 or whatever that number is. But they'll be able to tell you that again within 72 hours.
Okay, thank you.
Question.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, can we have? If someone want to have like a multiple store, is there any way? There is like any package deal that for that person. For example, if I want to go like to 2 to 3 stores.
Okay, and you would want to open them at the same time, or
one after another.
One after another. Okay. No, yeah. We'd be able to offer you a discount on your subsequent stores, your second and third store.
Okay.
Because there's some things at that point that you would need. You would need our supplier network. You already have it. So yeah, I would work on discounts for any subsequent stores, and we do that from time to time. So absolutely.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah. Give us a call Monday morning. Let's get to work.
You already got my phone. This is Antoine. You got my phone already.
Oh, okay, I got it.
You said you would give me a call. Yeah.
I'm gonna do it.
I will be expecting your call on Monday.
Very good. I look forward to it.
Thank you.
Yes. Any other questions? Next question.
Quick question. Hey, real quick, can you provide that number one more time?
Yes, my number? Yes.
Yes.
Let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
702-637-3389.
3389. Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you. Next question.
I want to ask this question.
Young lady, go first. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, I want to ask. Okay, I know the young man that spoke earlier was asking about multiple stores.
Yes.
So, like, how much distance do you guys give, like, if one wants to have a multiple store at the same time? Like, starting up, you want to start with 2 stores, in the same state but in different locations. What kind of distance will I get?
Normally it would be, and it's a little bit flexible because it's based to an extent on store size, but as a general comment, somewhere between 5 and 10% discount of the purchase price of the second store is about where it would be.
So even, say, for example, if I have like 80% cash for the business,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe the funding is just going to be 20%.
Yes.
So is still going to be 10%? You're going to give me the discount, even though I have 80% of the cash at hand for the business, for both stores.
I would work something out for you. It's kind of hard to talk about it here in a group, but I certainly will work on a price for you. I would be happy to.
But
Can I get a name and number? Let me get your name and number, ma'am, and I'll call you on Monday.
Yeah, my name is
That's here.
1 second, sir.
I'm excited.
My phone number is 267
267
694
694
8881. That's 8881.
8881. Let me read it back.
And my name is Patricia.
Okay, 267-694-8881.
Correct.
Very good, Patricia. I'll call you Monday morning.
Absolutely.
Very good. All right, thank you. Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Was there another question there?
Yes. Could you tell me if you're still running the special of $500 down, and if you get $3,000 towards the loan offer?
Yes, actually, what that is the refundable deposit when you make your application is $500, and if for any reason you decide not to go forward, we return that to you. If you do go forward and open a store, we apply that $500 to the purchase price of the store. And the second part of it is the $3,000 discount that you can get because you attended the teleseminar today. So as long as you get your deposit and application in by October 14th, which I think is next Wednesday, you would be able to take advantage of that $3,000 discount on your store price.
And how would I go about sending the money?
Do you have a representative that you're working with here in our office?
No, I don't yet. No.
Okay, well, let me get your name and number, and I'll have someone go through that process with you real quick on Monday.
Okay. My name is Denise, Denisce.
Got it.
Caradine, Caradine.
Got it.
And my phone number is 414-252-2737.
2737. Very good. I will have someone reach out to you Monday morning.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Denise. You have a good weekend. Take care.
You too.
Next question.
How much the fee? How much do you guys charge to open the first store?
Okay, the 1,000 square foot store starts at $76,900, and that's all you would ever pay to us. And what we do when you come on board and you decide to go forward, we'll do a quick worksheet for you because in addition to the $76,900, you're obviously going to need some other funds because you're going to need a rent deposit on your store location when you find it, when you select it. You're going to need a little bit of startup cash for business licenses and things of that nature. So we estimate all those expenses before we start working with you in real estate. Typically, what that ends up being is for a 1,000 square foot store at $76,900, you probably need about another $15,000 to $20,000 to make sure you can cover whatever other expenses might crop up. And most often you don't need all of that, but we like to make sure that you're in a position so that you can go forward when we find a good location for you.
Okay. So that increase depends on the square feet?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And we do that worksheet each and every time so that you'll know overall the outer limits of what your project might cost. And as I say, usually it ends up being much less.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next question. Okay, well, if there are no other questions. Yes, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am.
How much working capital do you suggest that a person month working capital do they need?
Okay, at the time you open your store or you're ready to open your store, you should have, I use an estimate of about 15 to 20% of the store package because that kind of speaks to size. So as I said, if you're doing 1,000 square foot store, 76.9, you probably should have another $15,000 or $20,000 beyond that. So maybe like $90,000 in total. But keep in mind, most often with the lenders that we have, they can secure 100% financing very often, including that working capital. So very often there's a nice surprise when we go through the funding estimates at the very beginning. You'll find that you may not need any cash out of the market, which is great.
So will the store take care of all of its expenses and payroll and utilities and stuff? How long would I guess my question was how long before the store start taking care of
making money on its own? Okay, good question.
Mm-hmm.
These businesses are like few other businesses. So they establish themselves very quickly. With a lot of businesses, you have to have a great location, and then people have to see you, and then they have to understand what your business is, and then they need to have a need for what your business does for them. So it can take a while to establish itself. With dollar stores, it's like a Hershey bar. Everybody knows what they are, and they need your product today. So to answer your question, most of our stores show a profit certainly within the first 30 to 60 days. It takes a little bit of time for people to notice you, but not very long. And then the stores start to pay for themselves. They pay back whatever loan you might have taken out, and they self-sustain in terms of the expenses and rebuying the merchandise. They easily within 60 days you should be profitable, no question. And keep in mind that when we negotiate your lease, we're going to negotiate for a minimum of 2 months free rent, and generally more, so that for the first number of months that you're open, you don't even have to pay rent. So you're able to build your business, add more inventory if you choose. So you've got some nice flexibility there at opening as well.
Great.
Any other questions?
And also, if you're in a building and just say the AC stop working, is that the landlord's responsibility, or how does that work?
Okay, most often that is going to be the tenant's responsibility, but when we negotiate leases, we do a couple of things. We ask that the landlord warrant, number one, that all those systems, air, heat, water, electrical, are all in good working order, number one. And then with the air conditioning, because that is an expensive repair, we ask the landlord to cap repairs at a certain level for the first year, 2 years. So if there's a problem with the system, maybe we say that no matter what goes wrong with the system, the landlord's going to take care of it for at least the first year. Or a fallback, we may say that any repairs will be capped at $200, just to use a number. So if you got into your store and the compressor went out 3 months later, you would only pay the repair person $200 and the landlord would pay the rest. So we try building those protections when we know a system is not new and, there may be the potential for a repair down the road. So.
Oh, okay. I thought that would your air break, you go call the landlord.
Yeah,
okay,
no.
So it's different.
Yeah. Most leases, it's not like, if you're renting a home or an apartment. And every lease is different, let me say this, but most often that's how it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Profile. You have to pay.
I've seen some leases, for example, where the landlord will pay a pretty good percentage, or in some cases all of the repairs, if you have a maintenance agreement in place and you have a company that comes in and services your system, every 3 months and changes the filters and all of that, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So, but every one is a little bit different. Next question.
Can I have one more question, please?
Yes, sir.
Do we have to get our own insurance? For example, last in the morning you mentioned that if somebody falls in a store or something, do we have to have our insurance on, or you guys provide us like comprehensive insurance?
Yeah, no. As an independent owner, it's a good question. You do have to provide your own liability insurance, and typically in a lease, the landlord will tell you how much insurance you're required to have, because they want to make sure that you're covered for slip and fall, things like that, so that the person who slipped doesn't go after the landlord. They want to make sure that their tenants have that protection. It's generally fairly inexpensive, that type of coverage, and then I always recommend to people that they also get what's called business interruption insurance. It's very, very inexpensive. But what that does for you is, for example, if, say, there's a fire in a space 2 doors down from you, but they have to shut down the center for 3 weeks while you do the repairs and so forth, and you're prevented from doing business. The business interruption insurance makes sure that you have monies coming in to cover your expenses while your business, so you don't lose money and you don't lose profit while your business is shut down. And years ago, I didn't know a lot about that, and somebody suggested it to me when I owned my stores years ago, and it came into play actually on 2 different occasions, and I was really happy that I had it. So I'll always suggest to people that they look into that.
You said business interruption insurance?
Business interruption insurance.
Okay.
Good to learn.
Yeah, I was very happy to learn it as well. Next question.
You called it. It's actually the first time I've heard of that. Thanks for that information.
You're very welcome.
Me too.
Hopefully you never need it, but it's good to have. Yes, next question.
I own a business site for more than
Go ahead.
I own a business site for more than 7 years, but this is the first time I heard about that.
Yeah, and not every company offers it, but it's worth asking the question. I'll tell you that.
And what was the name of it again?
I'm sorry?
Was it called, what was the name of it again? Interruption?
Yes, business interruption insurance.
Okay.
You're welcome. And like I say, not every company offers it, but it's always worth asking your insurer the question if you have a business or if you're going to have one. It can be very beneficial. I want to thank everybody that's left on the call for your time. I very much appreciate it, and hopefully we'll be speaking in the near future.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you.